Welcome to the Food Flamingo. In today's video, we're going to be making this insanely delicious, light and fluffy Tres Leches cake. This is actually our Turkish version of the cake, which is known as Trileçe, and it's made with the most simple ingredients and is literally the best thing in the world. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make the sponge cake base. For that, in a medium-sized bowl, we're going to whip together the egg whites with some of the sugar and salt. We're going to whip till stiff peaks form, which takes about 2 to 3 minutes. You can do this by hand, which will take a little bit longer, or you could use a hand or stand mixer. The egg whites should look something like this, and once that's done, set it aside and grab another bowl. In that, we're going to mix together the egg yolks and the rest of the granulated sugar. Give it a mix until it's nice and pale, which takes about 2 minutes. Now we're going to add in the vegetable oil and water. Mix it up, and now it's time to add in the dry ingredients. We're going to sift together the flour, baking powder, and salt. Don't forget the sifting part. This part is really important. The full recipe is available in the description box below, so make sure to check that out. This cake is perfect for parties and potlucks because it's made in a glass baking dish, which you can use to serve it in as well, so that's very convenient. Okay, now we're going to mix the two mixtures that we made together. I'm adding a third of the egg whites into the egg yolk mixture. We're going to mix it up, and over here I also realized that I should probably be using a spatula, so I did take that out and switch to a spatula. We're going to mix until it's fully combined, and now add in this yolk mixture into the rest of the egg whites. Now we're going to fold everything together until it's fully combined. I also just realized that I had forgotten to add the vanilla with the oil and the water, so that's what I did, and the batter is all ready. Here I have a baking dish that's greased. I'm adding a parchment paper on the bottom so it's easy to release the cake later. Pour in the cake batter and spread it out evenly. We're going to bake this in a preheated oven at 160 degrees Celsius or 320 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. Give it a few taps before baking it as well. Now for the milk syrup, I'm going to mix together the whole milk, condensed milk, and some sugar. I actually took out the evaporated milk in this recipe because I found that it's really hard to find in many places of the world, so I made this recipe where you can make it without it and it still tastes amazing. We're going to mix everything together and set it aside. Now let's make the caramel sauce for the top. In a pan, I'm going to melt together half a cup of sugar on medium-low. Make sure not to stir in between. It should look something like this. You will be tempted to turn up the heat so that the sugar could melt faster, but don't do this. Keep the heat on medium-low to low. Now we're going to add in the butter and give it a mix. Next goes in the heavy cream. Since the cream is cold, the sugar will harden up, but don't worry, as you keep cooking it, the sugar will dissolve back into the caramel. We're going to continue cooking this for 2 to 3 minutes until the caramel is slightly thick. Keep in mind that as the caramel cools, it will thicken up, so we're going to turn off the heat when it's still a little bit runny. I'm transferring the caramel into a measuring cup so that it's easier to pour onto the cake later. The cake is fully cooled, so now we're going to flip it over and peel off the baking paper. I'm going to use the cake upside down so we have a flat surface to work on. Now, using a skewer, poke holes all over the cake. Now we're going to add on the milk syrup that we made earlier. Remember to use all of it. While the cake soaks up a bit, let's make the whipped cream topping. I'm using cream chantilly, which is basically a powdered form of whipped cream. All you do is mix it with some cold milk and whip it up. You can also use a heavy whipping cream and some sugar. The recipe is in the description box below. I have everything mentioned on my website with the quantities and how to do it. Also, remember to save about 2 tablespoons for the decorating. I'm just putting it into a Ziploc bag. You can also use a piping bag. Now we're going to add the rest of the cream onto the cake and spread it out using a spatula. Now I'm going in with an offset spatula just to clean up everything, and it's time to add on the caramel. Make sure that your caramel is cooled fully though, or it will mix in with the whipped cream. Now I'm going to carefully spread that out as well, just like I did with the whipped cream. And if you haven't already, remember to subscribe to the Food Flamingo for more easy and delicious recipes just like this one. And also, you can find all of my recipes at thefoodflamingo.com. Now it's time to decorate. I'm going to use the leftover whipped cream to make horizontal lines all across the cake like so. Then using a skewer, I'm going to make vertical lines in 2 different directions like so to make this pretty design. Once that's all done, I'm going to refrigerate the cake for at least 2 hours or overnight for the best results. The longer it gets to soak, the yummier this cake tastes. And here it is, the final product. It looks so good. I can't wait to dig in. So let's cut it up. So if you like this video, remember to give it a like and comment down below if you tried the recipe and how you liked it. And if there's anything else that you would like me to make. Okay, finally. Oh my god, this tasted so good, you guys. It's so light and fluffy, yet saturated with so much of that delicious and creamy milk. It's just the best cake ever. Make sure to try it out, and thanks for watching.